Okay, I have you paired up with Chapman. I always use him simply because it's obvious to see. Okay, and I'm gonna put a lot of information in here with the knowing that you can come back and watch this as many times as you want. Okay, so the first movements that you make down the mound are the most important because they set everything up. Okay, so a lot of coaches will focus on what happens now. Okay, so once that foot's down, a lot of coaches will say things like, you know, follow through, get on top, get out in front. Those are things you just don't hear me saying because I'm much more worried about the action. So you'll hear me talk about everything up to this point, everything up to right here. That's where I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus on the stride, the actions. So you'll hear me talk about everything after your foot comes down as a reaction. Okay, so I'm not worried about those so much. I'm much more worried about how do we get our body moving down the mound. Okay, how do we stride? How do we act before we react? Okay, so the first thing is getting into our kick and getting out of it. Now this is something that you had talked about, saying that coaches wanted you to be more balanced here. You were saying that you wanted to lean back. Okay, well we don't have the backward perspective. We just have the sideward one right now. And I'm seeing that he's more turned away and he has moved more down the mound. Okay, so by the time he gets up, okay, now my lines aren't going to be perfect, but you are much more over your back foot where he is much more inside his back foot. Okay, so if I can just see your weight based on your leg position, it's obvious that you haven't gone anywhere yet. Okay. If it's not obvious to you, trust me, we need to be moving forward earlier. So as we lift, we don't want to be over our back foot. We want to be moving forward. Okay, it's not a ton, but it's enough. Okay. All right, so you should be shifted forward a little bit more. I could see you turned away a little bit more, specifically with this front leg, so you can see the difference in that. So he lifts up and back, where your lift is very much up. Okay. Take you to the bottom of your arm swing. Take him to the bottom of his arm swing. So you start lifting right there. Okay, and we're gonna see how much more he's turned away here. Okay, we're also gonna notice that he's a little bit farther down the mound than you are. Now, not as much, but it's more significant how much you're turned away or how much he's turned away compared to you. So this is what I'm seeing. That's not a perfect line, okay? But I'm looking at your front hip and noticing that your leg is already coming out from under you where his is back behind him. So yours is crossing that plane and his is not. That's significant. So this overall body position of being turned away is very, very significant. So that's the big difference that I see so far. He's moved farther than you and again is moved more turned away than you are. Okay, take you to where your arm is flat to the ground. Take him to where his arm is flat to the ground. Okay, so we actually see a lot of similarities here, which is good. Okay, so what happened already, okay, the biggest differences has come in your lower half because the upper half looks very similar to what he looks like in a relatively similar position, meaning your front foot's about to hit the ground, his front foot's about to hit the ground, and I see your upper half in a very similar position. So this is what you do really, really well. Your upper half is why you've had success and why you will continue to have success. So now it's learning what do we need to do with our lower half. Okay, so we notice the big difference being, I don't know if you can tell this, but you're a little bit more open than he is, and I can see it in your back leg. Okay, this back knee is turned in, his hasn't quite turned in yet. Okay, and we go back, okay, here, we go back here, and you can see it more obviously. His leg comes out from under him there. Your leg comes out from under you right there. Dramatically different positions. So be turned away. Find a way for that front leg to come out from under us later. And we're going to start putting our legs in a better position. Okay? So let's just look at what his path is. If you look at his front knee, his knee goes up and back, and then it goes down as his body goes forward before it goes out. I look at your knee path and it goes up and then you kind of kick it out versus going down before you go out. So I would really focus on us, how we initiate our move down the mound and how we position our legs as we move as the big focus going forward.